Coming up from AirVenture in Oshkosh, a diesel 172, making aviation more friendly, making flying less expensive, and Oshkosh Virgins. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
From your first skyward glance, the dream of flight compelled you. And from your first glimpse of a Cirrus, you realized that dream had a name. Cirrus Aircraft. Go where you've never been before.
A new day for affordable flying. Hello everyone and welcome to Oshkosh and AirVenture 2014. We're coming to you from AOPA's new expanded location right next to the flight line. More on that in a minute. This is the first of 3 special shows from the world's greatest aviation gathering. And here at Oshkosh, AOPA introduced a program to make flying more affordable and more fun.
What you've got here is a conversation that's going to change the way we think about aviation. It's the opportunity to get in front of people and say, you know, you can fly. You can fly for a lot less than you think. You can fly in an airplane that's been proven for a really long time, and it's very affordable. It's a very concrete way to lower the cost of flying, and the reason why that is painted yellow is it's supposed to be interruptive. We want people to ask the question, what's going on here? Why is that thing painted that color?
Under the big yellow tent here at Oshkosh, Mark Baker introduced our Yellowbird, the reimagined 152. The idea? To inspire, to show that you can fly for a lot less than you think. 152, you can. Here's more from AOPA Live's executive producer, Warren Morningstar.
Yes, she certainly is yellow, and it is a conversation starter. And as Mark said, that's the point, to attract attention and start the conversation about how you can fly. Katie Pribble flew November 152 UCAN from the East Coast to Oshkosh.
But the 2 words that come to mind about the entire flight was that it was really fun and it was easy. It's an easy airplane to fly.
November 152 UCAN is one of 3 152s AOPA bought and turned over to Aviat Aircraft in Afton, Wyoming, to be completely rebuilt to like new condition.
Short of the major airframe assemblies being totally replaced like a wing, everything else more or less is new equivalent or new restored equivalent. And so the airplane essentially performs as new when we're done with it.
Aviat's master craftsmen take everything apart, fix or repair what's needed, then put it all back together with loving care. And that includes the bulletproof Lycoming OH-235 up front.
It's just a good old engine. It does its thing. It's very simple. They've been around for years and years. They're capable of pulling this little airplane up in the air pretty easily.
New interior.
We're going to go with the smooth side, maybe bring it up into at least the 90s, if not the 2000s. We'll put new belts in, new carpeting all through the floorboards, new seat upholstery.
New interior. A new metal panel with updated avionics, and of course, a spiffy new paint job. Now there are more than 13,000 airframes out there for Aviat to pick the best to reimagine. These good-as-new 152s will sell for as low as $89,000.
But it also takes insurance and financing to make this work.
So AOPA Finance has partnered with some lenders for you to be able to get the kind of loans for a used aircraft that you just couldn't get before.
You know, really the big part about this is how do we make flying affordable? And you know, one of the most important things in this, as I see it, is the flying clubs and the partnerships, and in particular getting financing for these. We've been lucky that we've been able to get a couple of lenders that have stepped up and are able to do this for us.
And the AOPA Insurance Agency is making it possible for partners, flying clubs, and flight schools to get affordable insurance.
And so it's very cost-effective, very affordable rates for everyone that in pretty much any situation that you wanted to have for insurance on that particular aircraft.
There were so many times across the country when I was flying from Frederick, Maryland to Oshkosh, Wisconsin, that reminded me of why this airplane really can decrease the cost of flying and increase accessibility to general aviation for many, many more pilots. Whether it was burning just little over 5 gallons an hour, or being able to take off and land at any airstrip that I passed over on my entire route. This airplane is just built for people who want to be able to go out and get that really easy, fun flying fix. You get in this airplane and you're instantly taken back to some of those really great hours you spent with friends or with colleagues, or taking out my grandpa on my very first flight after I got my private pilot's license. And that's what this airplane is all about.
Warren Morningstar, AOPA Live.
You can see the reimagined 152 along with the sweepstakes debonair in front of our tent, right across from the Brown Arch and the flight line here at Oshkosh. Well, how about a new take on another classic aircraft? How about a jet fuel 172? Cessna announced the diesel-engined 172 JT-A here at Oshkosh. And company officials say the Continental CD-155 engine makes the Skyhawk quite the performer.
This is a higher performance engine over the whole regime of flight. We think that training schools will see about a 25% fuel savings improvement or fuel efficiency improvement in the way that they fly the airplane. But if you're just an individual operating the airplane over a particular flight leg, you could see as much as 58% better fuel performance on the airplane, or 58% more range, which means the Skyhawk can now go quite a long ways on a tank of gas.
That extra performance will cost you an extra $65,000. The diesel engine will be an option on new Skyhawks next year. And that diesel 182 announced back in 2012, Cessna says it'll be certified soon. Meanwhile, if you need a new engine for your old 172, Superior Air Parts will have a new option for you. The Superior Vantage engine. Superior has been making engine parts for decades. Now they have a type certificated engine to drop into your Skyhawk.
There's a lot of features on the engine that offer a little more durability, better lubrication, better steel in the crankshafts. We use the best materials from all over the world to make really the best engine at a great value.
Superior is working with Christiansen Aviation to obtain an STC to install the engines in Cessna 172R and S aircraft. It starts with a 2,000-hour TBO, but Superior hopes to extend that in the future. Well, a top issue for pilots here at Oshkosh this year is the status of the third-class medical reform. EAA and AOPA filed a petition nearly 3 years ago to allow private pilots to fly without a medical certificate. And EAA boss Jack Pelton is frustrated about the progress or lack of progress toward the final goal.
You know, it's been very frustrating. So I'll give you my straight position on how I feel personally on this, and I think it's representative of the association and other people. We had been told for quite some time that there would be a proposal out of the FAA no later than May. And that proposal was in response to AOPA's and EA's exemption request. And we have seen nothing. And every time I talk to the administrator or the other associations talk to the administrator, we get great intent on their part and that they're looking at doing something more than what we had asked for, and you walk away thinking something in fact may happen, but nothing has.
Needless to say, medical certificate reform is a top priority for AOPA. It's the #1 question at every event Mark Baker attends.
But I think we're going to see something that's positive in terms of rulemaking, because the FAA does want to respond to this in their way and not have Congress tell them what to do. So I think we're working from both angles. We're going to get to the right place on this, and I'm sure this will come up in the question and answers, but we're moving in the right direction. So contact your members of Congress if they're not part of the co-sponsors and make sure that they are part of this group.
Now, FAA Administrator Huerta is scheduled for a Meet the Boss forum here at Oshkosh, and we're hoping he will announce something significant then.
So I think the administrator is going to be here on Thursday. I don't think we should let him leave until he tells us what's really going on, but
be sure to tune in tomorrow. We'll tell you what the administrator has to say or doesn't say on medical certificate reform. Well, another year at Oshkosh, another milestone for the Honda Jet. The first production model is wowing the crowds at AirVenture. Mickey Massafucino is the designer of the Honda Jet. It started life as a sketch on a napkin.
Each year, I try to show the airplane. I'm reality of airplane, so customer could feel how much detail, we pay attention, how much finish we pay attention. So I think, airplanes, maturity is really satisfied the customers.
The first production model flew for the first time last month. The airplane is here at AirVenture through Friday. And now news on another jet. This one a little smaller than the Honda Jet. Cirrus says it expects to start deliveries of its SF-50 Vision late next year. The 7-seat single-engine jet is expected to fly at 300 knots true at 28,000 feet, and it'll be easy to fly, they say.
And what we're after with this airplane, and so much of this, it drives back to the dream Alan had, virtually back to the VK-30 days, you know, the jet pilot dream. This airplane is the step-up airplane for our customer. So we want it to be very much like our current airplane. We want to use our current airplane as a training platform for it. So as I say that, it flies very similarly. Approach is the same speed as a 22T on final. So from that aspect, you feel very much at home. The big difference is when you push that throttle forward, there's one thing to push forward. You want to go faster, you push one lever forward. You want to slow down, you pull it back. And there's no rumble. Really, it's wind noise that you hear. It's very quiet, incredibly smooth, and then when you point it up, it climbs at altitude well better than twice what our current airplane does.
The Vision Jet will set you back $1.96 million. Some 550 people have deposits on them. When we come back, the really big show and Oshkosh Virgins. AOPA Live this week continues in just a moment.
Will you give wings to preserve the future of aviation? Donating an aircraft to the AOPA Foundation is easy. It's tax deductible. And above all, it gives wings to aviation's future.
Welcome back to Oshkosh. AirVenture 2014 is in full swing. And here at the AOPA tent, the big show is even bigger this year. AOPA Live's Paul Harrop takes us around for a look at the new digs. Paul, you got a big spread here at AOPA.
We sure do, Tom. In fact, there's so much to see. We put it all into this piece for you. Now, it only runs a couple minutes, but to demonstrate how big things are, cameraman Eric and I are going to see if we can walk all the way around the AOPA exhibit in the time it takes you to watch this. So let's go. There are 5 things to consider when it comes to real estate: size, view, and location, location, location. And at AirVenture this year, AOPA has them all.
We are right on the flight line, right by the Brown Arch, so sort of the entire show center of the event.
And at our center of the universe hotspot, you can find everything under the sun.
We've got a regular activities tent where all the various membership activities, medical, legal, preparatory, finance. This is a one-stop shop. Everything represented about what AOPA does and provides for our members. But then on the outside, we've got a beautiful viewing area for the air show.
Or dream of your own air show in the big blue sky. We've got not one, but 2 airplanes parked on our giant grassy green. Your sweepstakes debonair and the 152 reimagined. But wait, there's more.
And then the big thing this year, a big yellow tent is back, and it represents all the various activities and seminars. It comes in, it lets you see what's going on, see if there's anything exciting. You guys have got all these forums over here.
And there's much more, but we just don't have time to talk about it all. Now, let's see if I've made it all the way around our new big spread. Okay, so Tom, we didn't quite make it to see everything at the new AOPA tent, but that just shows that the footprint is larger than it's ever been before. Paul here, AOPA Live. Tom, back to you.
All right, thanks for that. Better luck next time. If you're still on your way to AirVenture, we'll be here through Sunday. Drop on by and say hello. You know, at its core, AirVenture is about community, aviators, and aviation enthusiasts sharing the passion for flight. EEA creates a nationwide community with its network of more than 1,000 local chapters around the world. Grassroots groups that bring people together with shared interests, whether it's home built, vintage aircraft, aerobats, or warbirds. One of the oldest and most active chapters is Chapter 79 in Spokane, Washington. And it creates community that brings people in and encourages flying.
We have something going on every weekend, and a lot of new members, a couple new members almost every week that come around and want to get involved. And Young Eagles, we do a Young Eagles rally at least once a month during the summer.
Chapter 79 has a unique lounge in its hangar, complete with wall murals and aviation-themed lights, and a model airport loosely based on Felts Field. Kids and adults love it.
We get the best reactions. We've had kids come in, they'll jump up on the bar stools and be looking through the glass, and they'll pronounce, "I'm never leaving this room."
EAA Chapter 79 is one of the hosts for the AOPA Regional Fly-In to Spokane, Washington on August 16th. The lounge will be open. You can check out the bar while you're there. And speaking of things that can mess with your senses, some scientists want to get really high. Flight level 900 to be exact. The Perland project is a research team that hopes to fly a glider to 90,000 feet. They'll use a mountain vortex mixing with a southern polar vortex to get there. They hope to study the Earth's upper atmosphere. Airbus is partnering with them on the project, and they expect to start flight experiments this year. While many people make the pilgrimage to Oshkosh each year, there are always those who have been flying for years and for some reason just haven't made the trip. Our own Paul Moses is an Oshkosh virgin, and he caught up with a few others who, like him, are struggling to take it all in.
It has something for everyone. Oshkosh 2014. And no doubt, that's why it's grown into the aviation mecca it is today. You know, I've been flying for about 10 years, and I've always heard my father-in-law, who flies a T-34 here in the air show every year, talk about Oshkosh. But for some reason, I never made it. Now that I'm here, gosh, what a place. Friendly people, awesome airplanes, and just a great show. It's more than I imagined. I'd heard about people camping under the wings of their planes, but not thousands upon thousands of them. Wow. The mass of humanity and the value of the planes sitting on this field. It boggles the mind. And they're still landing, and landing, and landing.
I love all the planes that come here and all the different ones, and I like how the planes land every second. There's a bunch.
It's 11-year-old Megan Crouch's first trip with her dad, Lee. They flew in from Missouri with their friends in a beautifully restored Cessna 195.
Very first time to Oshkosh. I've been as retired military, flew 20 years. I'm actually a first-year air show performer. It was getting a little embarrassing telling people, no, I've never been to Oshkosh.
It's world's best aerobatic performers. You've got the greatest collection of aircraft ever, and it's a really unique experience. We're very fortunate. We only live just about a 3-hour flight away, so it's really neat.
It's a lot of walking, or you can ride. It seems the best seats are just sitting in the grass, watching the people, and of course, the planes.
I think it's pretty cool, you know, a pretty big air show. I love seeing all the different planes. It's a really neat experience.
Emily Emsk friends are probably jealous.
Tweeting out and Facebooking with all your friends?
More Snapchat.
Okay, sorry, I'm not with the current generation of social media management. And what planes are you interested in?
Stagger wings and seaplanes.
So the inexpensive ones.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's laughing and not crying. That's important.
It's mostly about the dream.
There's something for everybody. For girls, boys, men, and women, and to just come and be a part of history. I mean, when you walk around and see some of the beautiful planes from the 1930s, the 40s, the 50s, I mean, there's every plane for every person. Why wouldn't you love it?
Paul Moses, AOPA Live.
Well, Paul, welcome to Oshkosh. But I got to say, I think this is number 25 for me, so you got some catching up to do. And that's it for our first show from Oshkosh this year. We'll have 2 more, so plan to tune in again Friday and Saturday. Until then, I'm Tom Haynes. Thanks for watching AOPA Live from Oshkosh.
It's been called the most sophisticated single-engine airplane ever, but to the people whose loved ones are alive today, it's called a lifesaver. The Cirrus Airframe Parachute System, only from Cirrus Aircraft.